Welcome everyone to today's one and only Flux Cup game. My name is Intel. I'm here joined by Acri, and we are here to cast the Soar Academy versus Exodus semifinals match.
Yeah, this is looking to be a rather good match. Exodus, unlike last season, has been rather a top-tier team thus far in the Apprentice division. Soar Academy just behind them. I believe this is second place versus third place. So this has a lot of promise to be an incredible match. It looks like the players on both sides are still just kind of trickling into the lobby. I believe I heard something about a comp game going long, so that might take a little while, but they have time.
Yep, as it seems they've gone on a quick glitch or something, so we are just trying to get some players into the game. But honestly, it's going to be very interesting because of the fact that we have debatably the two tops team besides Quacka Queens. They have already, I think, gone against each other, and Exodus has taken that one. But they went to a map 5, and both of these teams have a lot of potential, but it really comes down to the possibilities of what they can accomplish going into a kind of. I think we have Nepal going first, and I don't know how many teams scrim against that because obviously a lot of teams prefer Lijiang.
Yeah, I think it really just depends on how comfortable they are dealing with some of the more niche strategies that have been popular on Lijiang for the time being. Of course, you have the Symmetra teleporter strat for the night markets, which some teams have a lot of trouble with if they can't react quick enough. And once that little bunker gets set up onto points, so hard to get rid of. Gardens you have pretty popular for Pharah or an Echo, so if you don't have someone who's confident on that Ashe or McCree, or maybe even like a Tracer Sombra, then you might want to avoid Lijiang altogether and go towards Nepal, which has more of like a Brawl-esque map pool, so to speak. Aside from Shrine, the one that's big, wide, and open, and you can actually get away with like Pharah, Echo, Ashe, all that. For the most part, it's going to be more Brawl-oriented, I'd assume, unless these teams have some weird comfort picks that I'm not aware of, like double shield or something crazy like that.
Yeah, like my main guess is we're gonna be seeing probably double bubble. I know a lot of teams have practiced that, or they specifically practiced the ball composition. It's some of their favorites.
That's actually going to be very interesting for me to spectate as someone who's coaching experts for most of the season, where I've seen teams at the expert level. Heck, I've seen literally the San Francisco Shock struggle at running double bubble. Now, the correct way to run it is that you have to cycle your Zarya's team barrier, her bubble, as well as the Monkey's, the Winston's shield, also his bubble. Ideally, it goes Zarya bubble first, then Monkey bubble, and then disengage or cycle back around to the Zarya bubble. And that timing is very difficult to execute properly. I mean, when you have legitimately some of the best tank players in the world, like Smurf and Choi Hoban, having difficulty with this composition, having a bunch of golds and plats try and play, this could be really interesting and also a clown fiesta, depending on if they're actually trying to run double bubble.
Oh no, 100%. But my idea is this: how do you feel these teams are going to compare going into the matches? Because obviously after this we're going straight to I believe Escort, if I'm correct, or some form of hybrid. And obviously I think we can agree me and Shroom are a lot more of an aggressive and play style and stronger when it comes to playing main tanks. But then I would give Tilted Waffle and Exy the better players when it comes to the DPS, and then supports are debatably equal.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen these players play in quite a while. I've been sort of in my own little world up in the higher division coaching up until this past weekend or so. So I can't really say, how these players are going to perform, what their comfort level is in the current meta. 'Cause it's been a while, so I'm going to hold too much judgment as to like who might have the upper hand. And so probably after Nepal. For the time being, I'm just kind of excited to see what they decide to run in terms of composition. They can adapt, how close together they play. It doesn't seem like they're quite ready.
Because we have seems Xy's having a bit of issues joining the lobby on their main account. So right now they're on an ult. We're just making sure that them running the ult is pretty okay and not against any rules or anything before we can get the match really started.
Are they in Discord is the important question. I can't really tell because they all have similar nicknames.
I do believe they're all in, yes. these players like to give always the casters and everyone a harder time than anything.
It looks like they are in Discord, so at the very least, it's probably not an internet issue, which would be tragic. Although they do have some people in the lobby in case they needed to swap out.
Yeah, they do have Vaporeon in, and we've seen Vaporeon play. I think specifically the flex support role. A lot of Zenyatta into these matches, so I do believe they have the ability to flex around if they're truly interested in that. And they have that potential to, especially because I know more than one of their players is eligible to swap around if they wish to.
Yeah, definitely, and we're seeing some rather large names on the bench for both sides. I mean, you have Vaporeon, you have Kylist. On Exodus's side, Monster TM is also in the spectators, but he is a player I coached up in Experts, so I can guarantee he's a coach. You have Fred Sexu, Empty Grin, Jarazone.
Yeah, same with Kylist. They're not eligible or
really?
any sense. No, not yet.
Oh, good for her.
All right.
Vaporeon.
Yeah, we are getting we are getting kind of the information to where it is, to if we can start the match or not. So my idea is kind of between these teams, what is your prediction going into this? How do you feel the scoreline is?
In terms of their match records coming into this game, I'd have to give it to Exodus thus far. I mean, they've won the head-to-head previously in the season. They've only lost to the currently undefeated team in the standings. So based off of records up until this point now, I'd have to give it to Exodus. But again, so anything can happen. Underdog stories can certainly come out. And I wouldn't even say Soar's that much of an underdog story since they're only one win behind from the regular season. So, we'll have to wait and see. I think we're still just waiting on these teams to get ready.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is that a lot of these players, especially, they like to just spam chat, and I'm trying to see who is trying to get in, but they're like spamming the chat right now. It seems we're getting Slimo out for Empty. Thank goodness.
Oh, it's Empty. Okay, yep. For a second, I thought it was the other Empty. I was going to say, is he actually back on main support despite the nightmares he had back in League Zero? But no, different Empty Grin.
Yep, but we are going to be starting down to 5 minutes, so we get this time to actually talk and plan things out. We are getting the art from Exodus, and again, we are starting on Nepal, which I think is I think there's only one point where you could specifically favor Brawl, and wanting to do that.
Yeah, definitely. In particular, Village obviously is going to be a little bit difficult to run anything like a Double Bubble or the Wrecking Ball compositions, as May, Symmetra are very strong. For Village, Sanctum, you can definitely get away with a lot. Oh, finally.
we're finally going into the match as we're getting both these artists from these teams. I'm so excited to see. And look at this, we're right on to Shrine. I think this is one of those maps that is, as you said before, Brawl is 100% possible to run on, but I'm more in favor of seeing this Double Bubble come out from both of these teams.
Yeah, and if there were any map to see it come out, it would be on this map in particular. Will be interesting. Got a few more seconds before the teams can actually pick their lineups, even that they're going to be able to meme around a little bit before the gates open up. Might be seeing some double shield on the side of Exodus, which it's a very aggressive variant.
We did just get the patch with a couple new changes. One is Orisa not receiving any more headshots when she uses Fortify, which I think Blizzard's trying to make Orisa good again, which I can understand. And honestly, I think the Fortify is very strong for Orisa, but I don't know how well it's going to be doing against this Double Bubble composition.
And then sure enough, on the side of Soar Academy, it looks like they're going to be using the Double Bubble. Be interested to see if they can actually pull it off and play it correctly. It's going to be mostly on their tanks to do so. It looks like we will be seeing this hyper-aggressive double shield from the side of Exodus as well. So we'll see which of the compositions, the new meta or the old meta.
Yeah, look at this. They're already starting to engage using this bubble. Orisa's Fortify now comes out. A massive anti right onto Pineapple, but the immortality is keeping him alive for a bit longer. Unfortunately, he's now going down. Wall splitting them up. May slept. Monkey split it, but he goes right back down. And they manage to get Exy, who is Galahan, fun fact. So now Exodus has the backup out of this fight.
Yeah, that was honestly opened up entirely by a great anti-nade from MT Grin. I don't know how he found that angle, like up and down multiple sets of stairs, but he found it, and when both of your tanks and double shield are antied, that's the go sign for any composition fighting into it. So that was a great play from MT Grin. Good capitalization. I mean, he's 3/4 of the way to his primal rage. Granted, that's not really what you build up in double bubble. It's not a win condition, but it's still nice to have a little bit extra chunkiness.
They're now engaging into this fight. The Maywall comes out. Same with Fortify. The Monkey goes low, but he manages to get healed up. Now they have to back up with the anti, hitting 2 players. But now they're split. Pineapple and Exy getting these picks. And now the entirety of Soar is split up. But Kryds is managing to get 2 picks. Pineapple evening it up. But Me uses the Primal. He's looking to even this up. Pineapple now anti, but Me goes down. There's not anyone left besides the McCree and Ana on this point against the BAP and Orisa. One has a shield, one doesn't. And now they're managing to heal Blue Jay throughout this damage. And either way, Exodus is not being able to cap the point. Now the majority of the team, besides Me, comes back, and Exodus is choosing to back out of this fight.
Yeah, it doesn't help that they're split as well. They have 4 members on the low ground, 2 up on the high ground. They will have to drop the Find down, but...
Yeah, look at this. They're using that nano early. They wanted to get some things shattered. Fire Strike through the Flux, through the field, and manages to get both Empty and Shroom, but now that fights back and even. They're looking to get these picks. There's no Reinhardt to heavy up this brawl, but Me is low. He has to back up out of this fight. They're looking to do anything, but Triggered is getting pressured from the back. The rally coming out to give them some extra defense into this fight. Now this damage boost being used. The Bongo, I'm guessing they're really confident in wanting to end this fight, but we are at 84%, so they have no time to really stop playing around. Pineapple does come back. They're going to be moving back onto this point. Grab's still not built yet, and Shroom is going to go down. Looks like Soar Academy just wanted to stall this time out, and they want to get this to as high as they can before losing. Pulse Bomb comes out. It does land on the Immortality, and Exodus manages to cap the point.
Now, one interesting thing here is despite the fact that Soar aren't really using bubbles the way they're meant to in this composition, shocker, I know, they're flat, they've really been able to stick around for quite a while, mostly due to the Kree and the Tracer just playing really smart angles, not allowing themselves to get picked off very easily so they can contest point. Obviously, they're in one-fight territory and then some for this. So, and there's a lot of, or lack of, rather, target focus from Exodus.
Yep, now that Blizzard comes out, the bubble, they do manage to get a big kill on themselves, but the Blizzard kind of helps them win this fight without any difficulties.
Yeah, that's going to have to be a hard disengage. Me's coming out. Yep, Christ, getting the better half of Reinhardt's shoulder into the wall. And, I mean, in all honesty, Exodus has a lot more ultimates to work with here. Shroom finally coming up onto his first Graviton Surge. Granted, it's double bubble. You're not expected to build up Grav very fast, so that's just sort of a side effect of the composition. But he will finally have it, so they might be able to get something out of there.
Yep,
they're taking a really long rotation.
Yeah, they're deciding to use that bubble very early. They managed to finally build up that Graviton Surge. They have the Nano. Ults are about even, so it's in the usage zone. They use it. Look at that! Pineapple able to get empty before the fight even starts. Graviton Surge being used. Sound Barrier protecting them. Now the Nano. The Monkey gets blocked off from the wall. He's not able to escape. Invest is Primal. And now they're trying to cap this point. Vespi moving back on. Shroom died to their own ability. And Me has to back out of the fight. They're only going to be coming back with some DPS ults, but they kind of just popped everything without investment.
Now Exodus is into one-fight territory. They have 3 extremely powerful ultimates coming up. Yeah, you have Me swapping off of the Winston. They just gave up on the double bubble entirely. But more importantly, Soar has almost no ultimates. They have High Noon, they have Pulse Bomb, but I mean, you have Death Blossom, you have Blizzard, you have Bongo on the side of Exodus. They can absolutely hold this if they want to. They just need to play this carefully and correctly.
Yeah, look at that Bongo being used very early. The anti-grenade not hitting anyone. Blizzard being used. He tries to charge out of it, but unfortunately gets blocked. Tilted Waffle getting the Death Blossom out, getting that 3K, and now it's up for the stall. There's not really anyone but Kryds on this point from Soar Academy, but he's going to be clipped out, and from what looked to be a very difficult hold, Exodus is now going to be taking point 1 of Nepal.
Almost as close as it possibly could have been, 100 to 98%. That was beautiful play from Exodus, and it really shows how sticky this double shield is. I think a lot of people are currently underestimating how strong not being able to headshot Orisa when she fortifies is. And I think we just saw exactly how strong that is, as Vespi, I don't think, died once this entire game, aside from the very first attack where he got anti-nated. So that was incredible. Still a little lack of target focus on the side of Exodus, but I mean, when you're that sticky and you're allowed to set up on the point, it doesn't matter, especially when you have the Mei who's throwing out a Blizzard every other fight. Tilted Waffle now onto the Kree as opposed to the Reaper. So this is looking pretty good for Exodus so far.
I agree. It looks like Exodus still wants to stay onto Orisa. They understand the value that she brings. And the fact that Soar Academy aren't having the best dies when using double bubble means that double shield blocks so much damage from the Zarya, and they can't play as aggressively as they're wanting to. They're now rotating all around the side of this map while they engage. The hole gets blocked off. They then use the bubble very early as he goes in. Both bubbles gone now, just trying to stall this out. They're looking to kind of flank around and get these picks, but it looks like Exodus is unworried about anything. A massive anti comes onto both tanks. They're going to be pressuring right onto that Orisa. Sorry, but the headshots don't matter when you're anti. Now they're pushing in. They're already capping point. Soar Academy now pushing into this fight. That Primal is built. Tilted Waffle almost falls off the map, but uses the edge to get back. Pineapple now goes down. This is absolutely insane as Soar Academy is able to build up that Primal, which helps them misplace Exodus and win that team fight.
That got really iffy from Soar Academy. Me in particular, I think they don't quite understand how to play this composition. It's not actually a dive comp aside from having the Winston. It's actually more of a brawl. Me is going to want to be using his jump back to disengage to save his life, as opposed to jumping in to save his to set up a fight. As we saw, he almost got melted down. It was really good anti-nade from MT to save it though.
And we're going to see this fight starting. They're already coming in. The anti-but shatter comes out. They don't have any bubble to save themselves, and now they're just trying to stall this point out. But Pineapple doesn't care about your feelings. He may die, but there's only two people who are going to be able to contest this point. That's Reaper and Cries. Look at them. They're just now going to be contesting on this point. Tracer now going down and staying with Blue Jay, but they are close to that Death Blossom, and they already have the Graviton Surge, so I feel like this next fight is in their favor.
I would say that if Galahad was not on May and did not have Blizzard a lot sooner, so unless they can get something really good out of Shroom's Graviton Surge, I'm not expecting too much from Soar this fight. It's going to be really difficult to take it with what they've got unless they dump everything they have into it, and that's obviously not going to help them in the long run. But again, it's going to depend on how these teams play it. They do have the ability to take it, but it's going to be a rough fight. Christ actually swapping off of the Tracer onto the Kree, looking for...
Look at them, the bubble used, Graviton Surge now being used. Soundbearer is defending them in this, but the Blizzard being used on that point. They managed to get speed boost, and Nano comes out. Shroom once again kills himself. Death Blossom coming out, and it saves this fight. All that's left is Tilted Waffle, but there's a monkey. No, Andy takes him out. And the Baptiste is the only one left. That looked like a scary fight for Soar as they just kind of hit Q, but they managed to bring it out with Blue Jay's Death Blossom.
Yeah. Somewhat fortunately for Soar as well is that a lot of Exodus also used their ultimates. I think the Bongo probably could have been saved. I bet Vespi is regretting that one, but otherwise, that was a pretty good fight for Soar. They forced out a lot of ultimates. Now they don't have a ton, but neither do the offense Exodus, so... Although they do have to touch point.
Me already jumping in. They're using that rally to walk in on that point and contest it. It's so close. A massive anti on both of the tanks once again, but they managed to shut down Blue Jay. Monkey walks into the fight, managing to back out, but it doesn't matter. Death Blossom being used, and it's going to be able to shut them out. Speed Boost getting that pick on Tilted Waffle, and they're now controlling this point. They're using the Amplification Matrix to try to damage them up, but Shroom is walking in to build that Graviton Surge. The bubble still manages to save them, but he's playing so aggressively that they can't even shut him down. Orisa doesn't have that far of a high rate. Now the Reaper's back. They're going to be able to walk into this fight. No more immortality. We're now on the 95%. Tilted Waffle moving in. The High Noon being used to look for someone. Sugar going down. Vespi now gone too. All that's left is the Lucio and Tilted Waffle as he tries to touch the point, immediately dying. All that's left is May and Lucio. Now walking back at the point as May dies to the Primal Rage, and he's just trying his best. Flux is trying their best, and then now they're going to be going down as Soar Academy manages to honestly, very impressively hold this point.
Yeah, I honestly think that was a really big misplay from Vespi and the two supports on the side of Exodus to just stay there. If they could have stayed there for like 10 seconds longer and survived, they probably would have won flat out because they had so much sustainability. I mean, Orisa with two supports in a little cubbyhole. Not until Blue Jay's Reaper came back did they actually have enough damage to burst through it. But honestly, they should have known that they had a Reaper on the side of Soar and just, jumped off point, reset. They would have had easily a full safe fight. Otherwise, they just kind of staggered themselves beyond any ability to repair that damage they had done. So that was just poor play from Exodus.
And if you ask me, I feel like that's the main weakness of their comp. Well, Orisa is very survivable right now, but she doesn't have the damage done or really the fire rate to really kill anyone. We saw Shroom just kind of walk in there and just exist. Now they're walking back into this fight. Both teams have the Symmetra, but a perfect wall splits Exodus, I do believe. Soar, they managed to get me, and Cries is now going down. They're all stuck in this small cubby, but they're basically boxed in and are going to need to die. Blue Jay going down first, and an amazing wall coming from Tilted Waffle to win this fight.
I don't think that was intended, but that was an absolutely beautiful wall from Tilted Waffle, because he sectioned off Christ, who was on the Symmetra, and the Symmetra is by far the most important character in these two brawl compositions that they were running. Now Christ is onto the Pharah, because her damage ramps up so incredibly high, especially against this double shield. She just melts them down. She gets no ammo reduction because of that. She builds up her damage, so that was a really good play from Tilted Waffle to find that wall. Not sure if it was intentional, but we're just gonna say it was.
Yeah, look at this. You're using that speed boost to run right on them. Me is so low right now. The immortality is not enough to save them. They're abusing the fact that they have this speed boost to take advantage. That Pharah is in the air, but they're not going to be able to do much.
Yeah, no, Christ is theoretically on the correct character to deal with this, but they have to find the right angles. And right now they've only really found Galahad, which if I were Galahad, I'd swap off onto a Kree. At this point, you're not going to really get too much value getting back to point. Especially with Christ coming up onto the barrage. Yep. So.
And honestly, I feel like the biggest point to playing this Orisa comp is having that Lucio, because look at that, they're using that Sim field, and they block me off from his healing. Now they try to come out. Shatter gets canceled from the stun, but it doesn't even matter as they manage to shut down this fight. Only Exy going down in this fight by Cries, but the Pharah is now going to have Barrage for the next fight.
Honestly, been holding it for so long. Christ easily could have used Barrage the previous fight and probably would have opened up everything, because the entirety of Exodus were looking one way and Christ was on the other side of point. Would have been basically a free Barrage, but instead just kind of sat there, got Galahad yet again, didn't really do anything that fight.
Yeah, look at that. Now they're coming in. Probably managed to find Exy, but the Blizzard being used on the point, they get that support and empty. Tilted Waffle Pineapple getting up the rest, and it doesn't even matter if this Barrage is coming out right on point. The Blizzard wall blocks it. Pineapple dies, but Cries goes down too. Now they're attempting to res it. They managed to get it out, and all that's left is the Pharah. They may be able to touch the point, but they have literally nobody else to touch. Not even the ball can do anything as they get shut down, and Exodus are going to be winning Nepal.
Oh, that is tragic from Christ. Honestly, played that really poorly. It should have been more decisive. Should have used Barrage sooner. Shouldn't have gone in Barrage when the fight was already over. I mean, I get that was last fight, but at that point, it would have been better to wait a minute. This was a beautiful shatter from Pineapple.
Yeah, so Pineapple just aggressively shaking their mouth, just looking to swing that up. Honestly, I think Soar's biggest mistake was switching onto that Orisa, because they switched the way they wanted to play their composition. They didn't have a Lucio or anything, so the entirety of what they did was try to walk there, let the Pharah walk, kind of go behind and poke. But Exodus didn't care. They're like, we have speed boost, so we're just going to ignore the Pharah and run right on you.
Yeah, and that's honestly how you have to play against the Pharah, with like a pseudo brawl composition like the Orisa Rhine. Because the Pharah, if you give her enough time in a fight, will get value. But if you kill the rest of the team, because it is a 4v6 essentially on the ground, if you kill the rest of the Pharah isn't going to do anything, because you can give all of your attention to avoiding dying to her. Aside from Galahad, who just had a terrible time. Probably should have swapped off to the Kree like 3 fights prior, but it doesn't matter because the rest of his team are winning that 5v4 essentially.
Yeah, 100%. And this is kind of getting scary if you ask me. I think when it came to the aggression, Soar was much better at it. Exodus had a lot of issues when it came to that target focusing, but they were really good at surviving. You know, they just held on to their teeth and just tried to win those fights as hard as they can.
Yeah, definitely. And I give a lot of credit to Christ for being able to stay alive, but that's only like half of the job of a DPS, right? He still needs to be able to find those kills to find value, because when you're just staying alive after the rest of your team has died, you're just staggering yourself. You know, even if you survive, that's really just off of luck as opposed to anything else, because the other team, in this case Exodus, wasn't bothering to focus down the remaining DPS. They're like, yeah, whatever, they could stay. As opposed to just resetting, being back with your team, possibly being able to swap if something isn't working. So yeah, it's sort of like a double-edged in terms of staying alive for as long as they are, and at least the way they're utilizing their long lifespans.
honestly, yes, we are kind of waiting a second as we're still waiting for Soar to kind of pick out this map.
Looks like we do have Red Knight in the lobby. I believe he is on Exodus. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. We're going to be... but I'm very excited right now because this is pretty much the platform to how we go. And I think if we see Brawl again, Soar Academy are going to look absolutely massive in it.
I think possibly, yeah. But I do think after watching that map that Exodus, I mean, they flat out won on the Brawl map of Nepal, which is Village. So I would have to say that Exodus have a distinct advantage going into this. They're just playing it a little bit better. They're playing together more. Their target focus is still a little bit lacking, but that's to be expected at this level. And it's not so much that it's costing them most of these fights. So right now, I'd have to give a distinct advantage to Exodus.
I can 100%. Not 100%. I think I at least can solidly 80% agree with that kind of idea behind Exodus right now. We are still waiting for the map pick. Also, I almost forgot to kind of report the scores. Don't want to be yelled at for that. So we now have the stats. I'll be sending them to you in quite a second, my good Angry. And honestly, they're very impressive because when it comes to Soar Academy, both me and Cries have about the same even damage, which is really impressive because that means the main tank and the main hit scan were going at it so hard that they have nearly enough damage, equally together. And then Cries' final blows, it's almost as high as Pineapple on the enemy team, which is still, once again, very impressive.
Yeah, well, honestly, I think the unsung hero there for Soar Academy had to be MT Grin for the time being. I mean, he effectively single-handedly opened up every single fight that they won on Sanctum. Just huge anti-nades, really nice sleeps. That kind of went overlooked at the time being, but his Ana is really deadly. If they can keep him on Ana, meaning probably play more double bubble, then they can certainly pull this out. They have the potential to, but they just gotta bring it together. Looks like no, wait, that's...
Yeah, we're going straight to Junkertown.
Junkertown, all right. Interesting. Especially considering that would kind of favor Exodus's Orisa Rhine comp more. So that's kind of weird, unless they're not feeling like playing the double bubble, which, I mean, double bubble can be played, but the entire point of the bunker composition that Exodus is playing is to stick far away and just kite and poke down, and this map is going to allow them to do that in spades. So they're going to need to play a little bit faster than they ever have before if Soar wants to get value out of double bubble, or unless they just want to run double shield themselves. Who knows? They could be going full double sniper, what you'd expect on this map as opposed to what we've seen thus far.
Yeah, we do only have 10 seconds left. After that, no teams will be able to swap or anything, but I'm expecting kind of maybe double sniper from one of these teams. It's always, a lot of people love to be running that anyways, so I do expect them to kind of run this as we're going straight into the map on Junkertown. I believe I don't know how much I like this new Ryan Orisa composition, because I understand why you want to run that Orisa, especially with this new buff, but I feel if you just run that Reaper with it and you run pure Brawl with it, your Ryan, Zarya, Lucio, on, or whatever, you just kind of mow them over, theoretically.
I think it's more to do with just pure sustainability while giving a little bit of Brawl potential. It is like a bunker Brawl hybrid. It's kind of weird because the Reinhardt is kind of the one who has to be the off tank because he's better able to peel than Orisa, who once she places her shield, it's stuck there, as opposed to the Reinhardt who can at least run over and shield. But it doesn't look like they're playing that. They're playing double bubble, which is really interesting.
Yeah. My guess is they don't want to mess with those off angles because any team that understands will know how to play around those shields. So that's what I'm guessing they are planning here. I don't even know what Exodus are doing. This looks like a composition from Quick Play.
Yeah, I don't know. Soar is just... I
think
hope they don't run out on this. Please don't run out on this. This is not a composition. This is comp. Okay. This is an actual...
They are running the Bastion.
Well, I'm not surprised. they're weird enough where that this is within the realm of possibility.
Speed Boost already going down from from like a body shot and dynamite from Tilted Waffle. Already a bad start.
Yeah, Tilted is probably one of the better DPS in this division, period. So you don't want to peek him, especially not like that. Blue Jay almost finding his head, but not quite enough. They'll just get healed up.
Yeah, I somewhat understand what they're doing as they're using that Bastion and Sigma to kind of take angles and pressure, and they're using anyone that they can to kind of move the payload slowly. They're not keeping this Bastion on the point, which is good because that leaves him vulnerable to dive. And then they waited so long that Pineapple gets killed because his supports are taking the off angle. Now they have no monkey, and they're relying on getting picks. Speed Boost is already back. It is not looking good for them as they have to immediately move out into this big open range, which I think we can both agree is Bastion's play spot right now. As look at that, he's immediately mowing down Tilted Waffle, has to back up and get double the peel, and then Bastion Tilted Waffle still manages to get Blue Jay. The monkey is back on the bright side, and Bob is now being popped in. They get Speed Boost and Shroom. Soar may have been wanting to take their time, but they've given Tilted Waffle too much room to get his ultimates.
Yeah, see, this is really the part of the map that Exodus want to defend in. The first part was just like, yeah, let's let Tilted try and get some picks, but otherwise, they wanted to get this open area because it becomes extremely awkward for Wrecking Ball compositions like this. Now we're seeing a Wrecking Ball Roadhog. Honestly, I would have liked the Sigma a little bit better. Okay, now we're just seeing a wholesale swap to Double Bubble, which
they just had the Bastion ult. So it's kind of interesting. Normally we'd see a team kind of try to run out on it to see if they can get any value, but no, they're immediately wanting to switch and have this disadvantage in ults.
Yeah, well, I think they just realized that they weren't going to be able to find too much.
Yeah, look at that bubble already coming out. The nano straight onto Pineapple. He's being able to move in, still wanting to respect that brig. The dive comes back out, pushing them a bit farther onto this bridge. No team having to clear advantage. They're basically just in the poke phase right now. But me is so close. Pineapple going onto this high ground. Uses Primal, and the blade comes out to finish off me. So now they have to back up without their monkey. But Blue Jay does get XC, which is Galahad, and Pineapple manages to get empty. So even though the fight looked about even, Exodus still managed to win this out.
Worth noting there that Empty had a ridiculously clutch sleep onto the Blading Genji. Galahad now over to the Echo. Not sure about that swap, at least on the first point here. Once they get to the second point, third point, it'll be a little bit better. But there's a lot of snipers here.
Yeah, they have to be very careful. Look at that. Graviton Surge being used right on that point, getting them. And Me tries to save themselves by turning around, but it doesn't even matter as they are managing to go down. Only a minute left on the time, and Soar Academy are not looking good right now.
No, this is the worst case scenario. They started off so low on ultimates just because they couldn't really find the poke they needed. Then they keep swapping Blue Jay, swapping off with a Widowmaker now, so they can't even use sights. They're going to have Blade and Primal, as well as Nano relatively soon. Grab should come up eventually towards mid-fight. Yep. Same thing with Speed Boost Rally, but they're going to be a little bit anemic, whereas Tilted already has Bob. Pineapple's going to have Primal.
He gets antied. He uses the Primal Race just to save themselves, and Pineapple overcommits, tries to build that Primal, and dies for it. So now the Ana getting pushed into the back line, the Blade coming out to look for anyone. He gets a bit booped back, managing to get Tilted Waffle, and now Soar Academy are being able to put themselves in a favorable position.
This is honestly the worst case scenario for Exodus. Granted, they do still have time to defend if they want to. It looks like they're not even going to bother. Yeah, it looks like they're not even going to bother. They're just going to set up for second point. That's kind of Oh,
no, never mind. They're running back in. That Primal from Pineapple being used, moving the back double monkey. It's reject humanity, as I like to say. Tilted Waffle now going down. Graviton Surge being used. They're now brawling right into this. That Me and Brig are doing so much, but the double monkeys are still in this game, looking to just say, get off my point. And Galahad, or Xe, is now gone as Soar Academy managed to bring this back and win that point.
That is not a lot of time for Streets phase. However, the second point for Junkertown is incredibly easy to stall for as long as they want. As long as they can set up with a reasonable amount of time until it doesn't get staggered here, which he might. Yeah, okay, well, this is getting a little bit sloppy, and they might even have to give up second point soon enough if they keep staggering in.
Man, I really hope not. Exodus looks so great right now, or at least onto that first point as they're going onto the Tracer, and they're already back into this poke phase, but they're down one. Pineapple gets body blocked and is unable to escape from the damage as Me was just standing in front of him saying, where are you going? You're mine. They're diving right back in. They get slapped and stunned. That Primal comes out. Christ goes down in the
Christ.
meantime, but the monkey is looking out to kill them. Already half health, and the primal rage managing to get Exy/Callahan. The break having to back up, and honestly, these staggers are so crucial, forcing Exodus to have to wait into these fights, but now they're coming back, and the monkey already taking that time. Wow. They use a Graviton Surge on these tanks, looking to finish them off, but Vespi goes down, the High Noon being used, unable to find anyone.
It's canceled.
Oh, it gets canceled. That's even better. All that's left is the Nano Monkey, but now the blade comes out. He's looking to get trigger happy. Now they're looking to go onto that point, managing to get Flint, and there's no one on Exodus to touch this Nano Genji.
That was a beautiful 4K from Christ. He seems a lot more comfortable onto this Genji, and surprisingly finding value. I wouldn't really think, aside from this second point, that would be a good hero for this map. But then again, the meta's been shifting a lot. Granted, Genji hasn't been touched. Pineapple.
Yeah, now Pineapple's going to be staggered a bit, and this is getting a bit more scary. Exodus aren't having any clean fights, as well as Flint is the only one coming up with a high-value ult. Sure, X is going to have that pulse bomb, but you can't really use that during the mid-fight, and they're already onto this high ground looking to do anything. Flint goes low, having to pop that rally just to keep themselves alive, and they want to brawl into this, already looking to get me so low, and they burst him down. Callahan managing to get empty, so now they're able to win this fight back due to these couple picks.
Yeah, this is despite all the staggering going into second point, this is looking a lot cleaner from Exodus now. Probably going to get the stagger on the Blue Jay. That's really bad for Soar because they have very little time. They are probably not going to cap third point with any time left unless they have like the attack of a lifetime, because this is so far to push and there's such a distinct defender's spawn advantage that it's going to be so difficult. They're rallying just to get in to the point. They want to get that extra tankiness before the fight even begins, but it might wear off the armor before they get a chance to really fight.
More importantly, they kill Cries. Cries is looking to just build that blade. They managed to get the ante onto Pineapple and Flint, so they might be going down. Pineapple already, Flint's going so low. The Primal Rage knocking them off this high ground, wanting to displace them. Graviton Surge being used on Vespi. Poor soul as they die. No peel for them. Speed Boost looking to come out of the fight. Blue Jay managing to get Exy. That Bob is now gone from the fight. They nano brig. They're wanting to go raid boss day, but they managed to use the High Noon to get Tilted Waffle, and now they have to back out of the fight. Monkey re-entering in, looking just to peel them out, but Soar Academy don't even care. They're looking to build that Nano Blade with this fight. They're moving in. Cries gets antied, but so low as the immediately pop it, and the Dragon Blade is the grab, and the post bomb manages to get Shroom. Cries, Acri, take this one real quick.
That might have just thrown their attempt at capturing all 3 points there using that Dragon Blade. That would have been their big cleanup moment. And Christ just throws it out in the middle of a grab. They have another fight. They can touch. They can take a little bit of time to set up. I have no idea why they used the blade there.
Yeah, because if you ask me, you drive fight with that blade, and you have a chance. But now they have less than 5 seconds. Me at 1 HP goes down.
Can they even touch? Okay, they do touch.
Yeah, they're touching with the Tracer, but they have no ultimates to kind of invest in this fight. Speed Boost does manage to get Flint. They have no break for this brawl, but that Doomfist is knocking that Zarya around, and it's still an even fight. But now Cries goes down. The Doomfist still on this point, looking to get Shroom, and now they go down the high to get canceled by the punch. Ball onto this point, slamming out of that Ana, and Ball just trying to do their best. Get slept, woken up, then booped away, and honestly, Exodus managed to save this map. We're going to be getting that pause, by the way, but let's take a second to breathe, because I am so mad at Cries right now. Look, maybe he fat-fingered, because he's going to be leaving the game to be restarting, probably, but Cries accidentally threw that entire point, I do have to say.
That is rather unfortunate, especially considering, like I said, they took their sweet time trying to get through the first part of third point sorted, and it really started to bite them in the butt. And I think that's where the pressure started to come in and allowed Exodus to come back, start to cycle ultimates more healthily. And that sort of put on the pressure. Maybe Christ was experiencing like latency issues, so he couldn't tell if he was in the grab or not. We don't know.
Yeah, quite possibly, as well as I think they were relying a lot on the kind of nano blades to win these fights, which I think is good, but kind of in that situation where they didn't have the ability and they panicked to using it, it just didn't work out for them. They didn't have any ultimates in the long run.
Yeah, honestly, the challenge with the Nano Blade is like when you look at what Exodus was running, right? I mean, like, who are you going to blade? You can blade the Ana. That's about it. You know, the Brig is just gonna bash you and whip shot you away. Probably have enough sustain to do whatever she wanted. The Tracer's just gonna blink away. The Doomfist is probably gonna kill you before he dies to a Dragon Blade, and then the tanks are tanks. So I mean, like, that's why the Genji's so risky here. It worked to clean up fights, like on second point where Christ got 4K, but you know they didn't use it after that fight to clean up. They were trying to use it to like open up fights or in the middle of a fight before anyone had a distinct winner, you know, before Soar really had a distinct advantage.
Yeah.
And that's really how you're going to find your value here.
So coming out onto Exodus's attack, we are now moving kind of into that area where we know the win condition. Just capture all 3 points. They don't even have to go too far. I think they stop the payload at one of the best positions. It's not too close to the point. So the stagger is going to be a bit weird. So Exodus, I think, have the best chance or best scenario possible to kind of capture all 3 points.
Yeah, it's doable. They didn't get it extremely close to third point, but then again, it is still effectively there. You know, it's like 20 meters or so away. So that is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Every single point of Junkertown has the potential to hold for the defense. So looking at Twitch chat, it does look like Gino was lagging out. Not sure if it was an FPS thing or a latency thing, but he is restarting anyways. So got probably about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, almost 2 minutes left. It's about 2:30, going a bit down. Price now joins back. So once we get the R, we're going to be starting. But if I'm Soar Academy right now, you better chap up. You know, start shaving, get the rags, stop sweating, because you need to kind of get your act together.
Yeah, definitely. They need to play first points a little bit better on their defense than they did in the offense. I think the overtime push on first point, I think it was, if not, it was like 30 seconds remaining or something crazy like that, really killed their time. Like, Junkertown first is extremely important to set the tempo and the pace for the rest of the map. And despite Exodus really just staggering in consistently on second point, they didn't really have to worry too much because they killed so much time off the clock that Soar wasn't going to have a ton of time going into third point. So they had a lot more opportunities to defend on third.
100%.
They do have
how much money do you kind of bet that Exodus are going to attempt to run the double bubble or, double shield again?
I would not put it past them to try and run the double shield, but they look comfortable on this double bubble, in all honesty. Tilted was playing out of his mind on the Ashe on first point in particular. Second point was a bit staggered. Third point, he brought it back. It was working. Then he swapped over to the Doomfist. That was working as well. So, but this first point, I think, is really just going to be Tilted's playground. I mean, he was destroying the enemy DPS, like Blue Jay and Christ, regardless of what they were playing. You know, he was dealing with Christ flanking on the Genji when he was on defense on first point.
Yeah, so, the fact that I think they kind of gave Tilted Waffle too much value, because Flint is pocketing the absolute living Jeff Kaplan out of Tilted Waffle. So the fact that, damage boosted Ashe, maybe not as strong, but still powerful, they need to kind of get that act together.
Yeah, especially since it's not even like it's double sniper. A few pot shots coming in for the time being, but nothing too much. They use both bubbles, so Soar is not going to have very much sustainability for like the next 10 seconds. This is the time for Exodus to jump in.
Yeah, look at that. Already moving in. Me takes the bridge while Pineapple goes on the opposite side, already so low, but managing to back out. Doesn't have that jump. That's the issue now, because both teams are kind of waiting to stay on to this point. Look at this, they're already on this high ground. Both kind of not wanting to engage. We're seeing Pineapple move in slowly. That Genji, both in the background. Anthony goes on to Cries, and me manages to get 2 picks. Doesn't even matter what's going on anymore. Tilted Waffle going down as well into this fight.
That was a great opening for me to jump in when he did, honestly. They were giving up a lot of space for quite a while. I don't think they're entirely comfortable on this double bubble quite yet, as they're not getting down the rotations quite yet. Oh, Shroom barely gets out with his life, but that could have been an absolutely crucial stagger, and neither team is particularly close to too many ultimates. Nothing of extreme significance. Blue Jay coming up on his pulse bomb relatively soon, but that's a cooldown. Once the nano boosts and the primal rages come up, that's when you're going to start to see the fireworks.
Yeah, 100% agree. Look at this. They're already getting prepared. Triggered is the first one with the ult. The Nano comes out, but the monkey jumps so far back, it's taking them a second. Both Dragon Blade and Primal being used. They managed to knock people back, but it doesn't even matter as they're getting so much value. Me managing to get Galahad, so now they're kind of in this weird position where the fight, but they're still managing to
dead.
back. Tilted Waffle now getting cries. All that's left is about me onto this point. He's learning to back out so he can not stagger himself. Shroom has his grab. Cries has the Dragon Blade. I think they can definitely bring this next
they want this kill on the Shroom, but they're not going to get it. That's pretty good from the rest of Soar to peel for Shroom as hard as they did, because they do have a lot of ultimates. They can deal with this.
Yeah, look at that. The Nano Blade coming out. He's not managing to get anyone. No, he managed to get triggered. Now Tilted Waffle. So they have to now back up. They may manage to get Vespi, but there's not much left.
They can still engage.
Surge getting used. They shut down Vespi, but Flint manages to res Tilted triggered. So the possibility of this fight be coming back is still there. An anti going onto the Ana, but the rally is out. It's now gone. They still don't have any tanks as Me is slowly coming back into this fight. The Genji looking to make any value, but Exodus are too scared to fully engage on this without 6. Look at this. Cries trying to go out, but overextend is getting a hard focus.
They solo grab
barely
Me.
manages to live. Me gets bubbled, unable to get healed as his bubble goes a bit too far out. And this is Exodus's time. They seem confident as they're no longer touching the point, but wanting to get these picks. Blue Jay misses the bomb onto Triggered, and now they're holding down this choke, moving this payload. They're about to capture. Look at that. Shroom now goes down that Primal going in. They managed to get Galahad, but it doesn't even matter into this fight. At this point, they just want to stall or have a better time bank in the end. And let's give props as Exodus seem they're going to be able to capture this point.
That got a little bit scrappy. They only capped it with about 40 seconds remaining, and it's 40 seconds more than Soar had, but they're going to need to take the second point just about as fast as Soar did in order to really get value, especially considering that both sides have the Nano Blade coming up. Granted, Soar's still waiting on Empty Grin to build up the Nano, but that'll be like another 5 seconds or so. So the faster that Exodus acts in this second point, it's going to be better for them. Probably want to use that Valkyrie as soon as they possibly can.
Yeah, but it looks like Cries already wants to use that Nano Blade. So telegraphed. Pineapple is able to counter dive, and they manage to get the supports. But Tilted Waffle and Vespi go down in the same way. Seems Soar Academy gets more value out of the out of the dive into this fight, but they do force some ultimates out, and I think that is very good.
Wait. This might still be
doable. There's only 2 people on point. That Mercy and Tanks are there. The Primal Rage being popped out. I didn't even notice. Look at that, wanting to move them around.
Exodus is coming back.
Yeah, Pineapple stayed alive so perfectly, and Me is so low. Still investing, manages to get flinched, but takes himself out. They may not have res, but that spawn point is much farther than you think it is. They have no ultimates to stop this. Tilted Waffle bringing this fight back. It's a 7. The Primal Rage, the Primal Nano gets used. Galahad managing to get Blue Jay. Shroom now going down. Exodus turning what looked to be a loss back into this fight that they wanted. And look at that. There's nobody left on Soar Academy. Pineapple is mad. He's saying, I want the champion belt.
He's certainly playing for it. They got basically 5 or 6 kills before Vespi could even build up his Graviton Surge. That is absolutely crucial, because coming into this third point, Grav is going to allow for a massive snowball if they can use it properly. Of course, Speed Boost does have the rally. Shroom is getting closer to his Grav. Again, in this composition, the Grav is going to build rather slow, so Shroom's probably going to be a little while before that really starts to take effect.
My favorite part about Vespi having this ability is the fact that they're going to be able to build ult off of it, let's be honest. So they might want to drive like this as long as they can. Cries goes solo, Cries goes down. They're now in the 5v6. This is not looking good. The Dynamite hitting absolutely everyone on the high ground. Graviton Surge, Graviton Surge gets used, but the anti's on the tanks, and they're able to get much more value than Soar Academy ever could. And now this is a slow fight. Tilted Waffle may go down.
Crucially, Galahad has Blade here.
Yeah, that is true. But more importantly, look at this. It's still a 6v6. The rally comes out to keep the Ana alive. They don't want to stagger anymore. This is coming into the last territory. Cries' Pulse Bomb versus the Blade, and it managed to get trigger happy. Wait, we are going to be getting a pause. They only have around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is the issue.
Yeah, even if they don't cap it here, they are, 2 meters away at this point, and they have so very much they have so very many resources to work with here. Who called for the pause, by the way? Is that Soar?
Yeah, Soar Academy, so they don't have much time. I'm just waiting. Exodus, give us that R at 1:39. Let's get back into this fight. Soar Academy.
Show.
Yeah, still have the advantage into this fight, but let's see how it goes.
Oh.
Getting that blade onto speed boost. They shut that down. Cry's getting tilted. Vespi getting Shroom. It's such an even fight. Looks like that Valkyrie coming on, but the Nano Monkey going on to Galahad, wanting to shut down that Genji, but it doesn't even matter. The Doomfist comes out and is looking to get them into this. It looks like Soar Academy is going to be able to win this one.
Yeah, for now, they're going to have to soft disengage Exodus's, and they used a lot of ultimates, but they're still going to have quite a bit. They're going to have the nano boost in essentially 5 seconds of the first fight. You know, Pineapple's going to have that Primal Rage. Tilted Waffle's going to have Bob probably before they even start to engage. And I mean, look at what Soar has. They're going to have Primal Rage maybe into next fight, unless Exodus can finish it quickly. So Exodus is in the best possible scenario. They just need to not choke it out. They do have about a minute left, so time isn't necessarily on their side, but it's about as close as it'll get.
Yeah, look at this. They're already taking that high poke on the high ground. The poke pump comes out, doesn't manage to find anyone. Pineapple does go low. Me using the Primal Rage. Now there's still the Doomfist left in the back. Waffle wanting to bring back this fight. The Bob's still on point. Me managed to get Pineapple with the Primal Rage, but Cries manages to get Tilted Waffle. This is getting scary as we go down less than a minute. They use the Nano to save Vespi in this fight, but there is not much. They try to touch this point, but they're going to be going down for Vespi too. And the fact that there is a ball coming in next fight, it's all that matters when it comes to the re-engage.
Yeah, once again, now Soar is left with really only one major ultimate to use in this upcoming fight. They're going to have the Nano Boost. That's it. That's all they're going to have. And again, Exodus is going to have a lot. They need to act quickly, but they can do it. They just need to play it correctly, not choke it out. But they're going to have the blade. They're going to have...
Yeah, look at that. The dive already coming in. The Nano Doomfist coming out. The Primal Rage. Graviton Surge. That monkey's anti. You can't save him. The blade is out too. All there's left is Doomfist on point. Blue Jay is a bird, but he is no god as he's trying to save this game. And unfortunately, it looks like Soar Academy. No, Cries is going to try to touch the point and save it. Everybody's out, but it doesn't matter as Exodus are bringing this back.
Whew. 2-0 Exodus thus far. They're match point. This could very well be a 3-0 the way Exodus has been playing. They've been cutting it a little bit closer than they probably need to, but they are pulling it out in the end when it actually matters. And that's been the defining factor of...
No.
As if he didn't relive that moment already in his head enough. One more time.
That's one for the coaches to angrily scream at.
It seems like he's having some serious internet issues because that was the cause of both pauses.
That's what happens when you live in Canada. That's all I'm saying. NA's the best. But now...
Canada is in South America.
Now, obviously, we are stuck in this match point situation. Exodus have the ability to bring this home, to go to the semifinals against either Camelot or Quacka Queens. But let's be honest, Quacka Queens are looking a lot stronger today. So how do you feel Soar Academy need to do anything?
Well, let's see. It looks like they are making some swaps. Jerazone going in for Blue Jay. Interesting. I do know Jerazone is more of a traditional DPS player. Blue Jay, I know him more of a phenomenal off-tank, but I believe he's only eligible for DPS in this. So might be seeing a little bit more flexibility in terms of DPS. I'm not sure exactly what Blue Jay's comfort zone is, but I know Jer has a pretty deadly Genji. He's pretty nasty on things like the Hanzo, for example. So they could pull something out of their hat, play something a little bit different from what they have been.
Yeah, we also are going on hybrid. So if you ask me, Soar Academy is going to say King's Row. It's everybody's favorite map. I don't know why we have a map.
Is King's on the map pool?
I'm pretty sure King's is on the map pool because all people
like Eichenwald. What is it? It's Eichenwald, Blizzard World, and something else, right?
No, I'm pretty sure it's King's Row. Hold up, I'm gonna check the sheet just in case.
I might be thinking of a different tournament. I've casted too many things recently. Anyways, yeah, if King's Row is available, I'd expect them to play that. Soar seems...
Yeah, we have King's Row, Hollywood, and Eichenwald. But King's Row obviously is the most popular map. Braxis hates it with all his heart, but I know these players love it to death.
Yeah, it's Scrim's Row. What else do you have to say, really? For the time being, looks like Exodus wants to stay on defense. Good choice. No map pick quite yet. I think Soar is genuinely taking some time to consider what they can / want to play here.
You kind of need to. Like, you've had such close maps, but you're unable to finish it out in the end, and it's honestly very worrying when it comes to Soar Academy.
Well, Exodus is just ready to go. They don't care what's happening from here on out.
They at this point they have decided we win and that's it. There is no worry if we go on any map. There is no planning.
They're just winging it, and they're going to take it all the way to the grand finals as far as they're concerned. They still have one map to go, of course, however, so they gotta work their way there for just a little bit longer at the very least, and quite a while at the very most, if Soar decide to take this to a map 5, which I'm sure they really want to at this point, because that's their only option now.
Do you see Soar Academy bringing in the reverse sweep?
That is going to be tough. They need to make sure that they're not getting boomed if Gino / Christ is continuing to have internet issues, possibly even sub him out for Blue Jay and have Blue Jay Jarazone. I don't know what their hero pools are, like how they overlap, how much flexibility that allows for. Christ has been doing really well when he's in, but if you're going to have internet issues that create scenarios like the Dragon Blade inside of the Grav, it's probably better to not allow that internet to sabotage your one chance at making it to a grand finals for the second season in a row. And King's Row, speaking of which, is going to be the map pick, so do or die in the streets of London.
Yep, and what is it, BlizzCon? We got to see some clips of the new King's Row, and if you ask me, I would want to be able to, go into the next, go into finals, because maybe Overwatch 2 will be out yet, so.
Well, it looks like Soar is not quite ready.
Yeah, well, they have less than a minute, so, I may make the rules, and I am a crucial judge in this. I am the executioner, and I will end them all.
Well, Exodus is still ready, so that's at least we got half of the lobby ready to go in. I guess 2/3 if you count production, but 30 seconds remaining. Soar in their final hour before they have go time. Essentially,
my legs, we are shaking. I am terrified as we have 15 seconds left in the time, because I can see this going either way for both teams. We're now seeing the R come out. We're now most likely going to be seeing a pure brawl, or definitely that Orisa double shield. But either way, we are on match point of Soar Academy versus Exodus.
Yep.
Doesn't it feel almost poetic? Exodus, one of the worst teams in the last season, come in with new management, pick up a good roster around this time, and finally are able to show the talent and potential that they had in the season 1 game.
Well, if you ask Frazzle, if you're watching this, I'm sure you'll get a kick out of this. Of course, the secret weapon was not having Red Panda on Ashe, but in all reality, Exodus just looks like an entirely different beast, They are playing together a lot more. They're playing their win conditions really well. They're taking their time. They are cutting it a little bit close at times. They've gone to overtime quite a bit. But they're pulling it out when it matters, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. If they can get that final objective to where they need it to, then you can't really blame them too much for whatever they're doing. Interesting. Never seen Soar on the double bubble for the time being.
Yep, and look at this. We are seeing the double shield, the Rhine Brawl, and this is it. All the marbles on the line as both of these teams are going to be trying their best to win Flux Cup's finals match. And Jero already goes down. Empty manages the Pineapple. They now no longer have a main tank, but the immortality keeping them up. The Orisa now goes down. Poor Vespi. Soar Academy are angry.
That was a beautiful wall from Jarazone, and now actually Tilted Waffle getting a really nice wall onto the remainder of Soar that pushed up, so they're going to be able to recontest here.
Oh, yeah, look, already kind of moving up. They want to try to hold this out. 2 ticks already get in. They get Tilted Waffle into this.
They have to touch if they want to.
They get booped back. The Reinhardt's on this point, but at this time, you need to die, Pineapple.
Yeah, that was just really fast play from. So this looks like an entirely different Soar, in all honesty. This is them in overdrive realizing this is it for the season. They need to either win this map or go home.
I remember a long time ago, we had, back when we had Crayon Munchers as Gangsta's waifus, and they had the Smurf issue. They wanted to play every match as a reverse sweep. I think that's what Soar is planning right now as they use the amplification matrix to try to get some early picks while the payload's moving. They're still waiting. They managed to get Tilted Waffle. That's absolutely insane. Exodus don't want to go into this fight as a 5v6, but Soar Academy don't care what they want. Already looking short. But the shatter comes out mid-air, and V goes down. The high noon behind them, but the shields are there. The bubble saves them, but it doesn't even matter. Cries now goes down. You'll be crying in your bed tonight, having to rewatch that play as your entire team has to back up, and Exodus found the play that they needed.
I want to point out that Exodus won that fight using only one ultimate, and that was the Shatter. Otherwise, they just completely negated the window. They completely negated the High Noon from Kreis. So Soar are going to have a lot of less ultimates coming into the Streets phase. And I mean, when you look at the cart, got pushed. They only had one person on cart sorted, so they did not have a lot to work with.
Yep, now the Shatter comes out, it hits everyone, but the Blizzard kind of slows them down, splits everyone else off, but Me does not care.
That, again, Soar is just playing at a ridiculously breakneck pace. Finally, they do have 2 on cart, so they're probably going to be able to push it most of the way to second. I'm not sure if they'll be able to get a recontest Exodus well, but even if not, they're going to have one heck of a time bank to contest here.
No way, This team is obviously so confident, already capping, taking out Vespi too. They're ready for the next fight before Exodus even have a time to ult plan.
5.5 minutes, but taking out Jer like that is probably going to be for the better of the defense. Tilted Waffle getting low, but I mean, Exodus, as long as they use them, they have quite a few ultimates to utilize here. Pineapple coming up on yet another Shatter.
That's so true. Look at this, already taking their spot up. The High Noon being used. They want to try to get these stagger picks off. And Speed Boost was stuck on the wall, trying to wall right away. Gets found out in the middle of it. How unfortunate. That's another play you'll be crying about in bed.
Be interested to see if Trigger Happy decides to use the window early here, because that's going to be the easiest way for Exodus to poke everyone out. It looks like they're not, as he's not really in position.
The amplification matrix comes out, but they managed to get both back. The Blizzard comes out. Gallahan now down. The Shatter gets blocked. Pineapple looking to kind of even this up as he just walks into the back line, and the tanks are now gone. So even though Soar had a pretty good fight and they're starting to win this, Pineapple's still alive, stalling this out, and they're going to be running back to the main tank. Exodus has 3 very powerful ultimates. I think they'll be fine for this next push.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd be shocked if Soar pushed it all the way in, because they only have beats. The window isn't even particularly close, whereas Exodus have Blizzard, they have Bongo, they have beat if they need it. Sure enough, they open up Bongo.
At the wall comes out, they shut him down. The wall coming out, looking to break the LOS. Two boom comes down. They get the DPS, and now the sound barrier gets used behind.
Somebody's to get on point. Okay, there we go.
He's looking to shut this down, but look at that. He's confusing them. They're still waiting for that Reinhardt to want to move back, but I'm pretty sure they've scared the hell out of them. The High Noon now popped out. They're going to break him. That bubble being used. So much fuel to save him, and they managed to take out Pineapple. This is getting bad. The High Noon Blizzard combo being out, managing to get speed boost. The Blizzard now getting me, and I think finally they're going to be able to shut down this fight, and that was a sweat to my brow.
That was really weird from Exodus. They used like literally everything they had just to stop the cart. Granted, Soar did basically the same thing to push cart. I'm not sure what the heck Speed Boost was doing. Kind of wasted the beat there on himself, but almost C9. I don't know what kind of lack of communication is going on with Exodus, but now even if they hold it right there for the remaining 3 minutes, they have to push it essentially 2 meters away from third point.
Yeah, I'm worried that. Look at that! The Fire Strike already out with the amplification matrix, taking out Shroom, wasting down that time bank. That's what you want to do at this point. If you can't stop them from capping all 3 points, you make them cap with 0 time.
That was absolutely beautiful kill onto Shroom almost immediately once the fight started, because he's had Grav for like a fight and a half now. He just hasn't been able to use it. Of course, Jer is coming up onto the Blizzard, so they might be able to work something there with Grav Blizzard combo. But the longer this takes and the more time the Exodus has to poke, they're going to be able to build up more ultimates. Vespi once again has Bongo. Firehim might be up to use it right now.
That wall comes out, splits me. The Shatter coming down, managing to hit them. But the Reinhardt is still there. Pineapple with no sweat. Immortality keeping them alive, but it doesn't even matter.
This is starting to look grim for Soar, because all they really have right now is the Blizzard. They're going to build up the window very quickly. High Noon may come middle of next fight. Same thing with Speed Boost to beat. But otherwise, I mean, you have both DPS ultimates on the side of Exodus. Those are really good stall ultimates, especially used in tandem, and that'll probably give you enough time to build up both support ultimates and just keep cycling them like that.
Yeah, look, they're already using the Blizzard very early into this fight, but Sword Academy doesn't care. They walk away from it. Jero still goes down. That's so unfortunate, and they have to move back. We're entering into 1 minute and 40 seconds. It is still unforgiving into this push, just hitting W, no sweat in their eyes.
Oh, MT. That window would have been so much better used in this upcoming fight. You had so many people already dead. That was really weird from both sides, really, for those Blizzards, because Jer was the only one caught in Tilted's Blizzard, but he was the only one who died that fight from the Blizzard.
You know, so, I think he expected them to kind of go through it, but didn't. Oh, no. The Amplification Matrix already out. Fire Strike not managing to pick them off, but it slows them down. That's all that matters at this point. As we're entering into a minute, Sword Academy have no ability to capture this with time bank left, debatably speaking. Shatter comes out into the shield, and Me's gonna pay for it. Shatter comes out, hitting everyone. The Immortality manages to save them, but it doesn't matter.
Soar is just choking. That's the only way to put this. They've had so many opportunities. They made so many swaps now from the composition. You're still seeing swaps. They don't know what to do, and they have one fight left, one good fight. I mean, heck, Jerry isn't even on the main. He was doing incredible on May the entire time. He was building up Blizzard significantly faster than Tilted, but they weren't finding value. Soar's playing very split.
Look at this. Exodus already using the high noon, taking this fight early. Me onto that monkey, trying to get any value, panicking with these switches. And Jero goes down. All they have left is a speed boost, and less than 10 seconds almost on the clock. Sound barrier being used to help them in aid, but they have Blizzard. The sound barrier comes out to save them into this graviton surge, but the Blizzard gets everyone else. Soar Academy, what are you doing? You made us so happy, but now you make us sad as your Lucio gets walled off, stunned, and dies. You can't even touch point, and Exodus stop the 3 capture.
That wasn't just textbook. That was like writing a new textbook on how to defend Kings Row third. I mean, they went from like getting rolled for like 2.5 points and then just go on and roll the offense for the remaining 5.5 minutes. That was incredible.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like the initial speed boost when the C9 was trying to happen, I feel like that's what gave Exodus that momentum to switch it around. They're saying to themselves, wait, they're using ultimates carelessly. What are we doing? Let's get our act together. And they did. So now, debatably, we might be seeing a stronger Exodus coming into this fight because they want to end this match point. They want to go to bed. They want to eat some lasagna. Who knows?
I would be kind of shocked if they run out on this. Granted, Exodus are on attack, so they have some time to actually run out on what they want. Now, I am interested to see how Soar plays this brawl, because they swapped really heavily off of this brawl towards the end of third point, just desperately trying to find something. So they lost their momentum very heavily from this brawl, and brawl is something where you just need that energy to say, I'm gonna win. You know, and I don't know if they have that right now. You know, Jer swapped off of the May a long time ago.
Exodus are running out on the teleporting Bastion.
They're doing the AC 130, aren't they?
They are 100%. This composition is so hard to break because nobody scrims against it. As they're running out, they don't choose not to use the Sigma, but they are running AC 130 above. Let's give our players salutes as they know they're at the corner and they've fallen for the trap. The wall doesn't even matter. They have to rotate all around, just trying to take out this Bastion. But he's getting healed before they get damage him. Call him Kirito because he's breaking the game.
Oh, dear Lord. Yep, that was probably not what they were expecting, considering how much they flopped. I mean, at the very least, Empty Grin is going to get out with his life, but that's not exactly what you wanted. And they can just stick on this Bastion for as long as it works. You know, they can just play a little bit of pirate ship until they're forced off of it. You know, that's going to take a while, because Jer isn't even remotely close to his Blizzard. That's going to be a while.
And if you ask me, at least from what I've seen from the games such as from Volcanic, the higher division, there is a skill gap with this composition. If you understand where to place this Bastion and not just play bunker, you can absolutely demolish with this. But it seems that Exodus want to run this bunker comp, so keep that Bastion on the point. Kryze is now telling them what's going on. He's on this trace, he's on this high ground.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of awkwardness for Soar because they don't really have too many ultimates. They're going to come up onto that Nano Boost rather soon. But, I mean, who are they going to nano?
Almost getting Pineapple. They have to back up. Teleporter being used. All to the Bastion placed behind. They don't realize it, and now they're being split, just trying to find what to do against it. Exodus looks so calm. They have shades of death.
And I mean, they have ultimates now. Finally, you do have the Nano Boost for Empty Grin, but I mean, Exodus has just been stacking essentially 6 ultimates. They have so many to work with. They have the wall, they have the shatter, they're gonna have the grab soon.
And look at where they leave this Bastion. You can't dive that easily. Only the Monkey and Diva are going to be able to, as they switch to a pure dive. They want to shut this down. They're still on. Yeah, they're still on this May for some reason. Never mind. But they now nano the Monkey in to try to capture, but that wall's going to shut them down. They can't
want this point.
They try to walk out. Me gets bursted down by the Bastion, and it's an easy time. Welcome to Sunshine Road.
They have over 40 seconds more than what Soar had coming into this point. What is this game?
And now look, they're already teleporting, and they're hiding. If I was them, break that teleporter. You don't want them to see your plan.
No, we're going to see a windowed Bastion ult, aren't we?
Probably, but on the side of Soar, look at that, they have the Blizzard. They're going to be diving that Bastion. He immediately goes to the turret mode. And it found me. There's nothing you can do. They take out the Bastion. There's no res. And
okay, finally.
That fight's gone. And they may use that nano. So that's the only ult really committed to this fight. Soar Academy finally having some room to breathe.
They're going to be swapping off the Bastion. The ultimate is not worth the stress it would be to get inside. Sure enough, they're swapping. But this is insane. This is an insane position for Exodus to be in because they're essentially equal in ultimates, and they don't have that long to go, right? They still have the window.
Yeah, they have.
Oh no, sorry.
It's Blizzard versus Graviton Surge and Gravitic Flux, as everyone is switching to look for these counters. Grab gets used, but that Blizzard
my word.
Come up. This is not looking good for Exodus because they just get pushed back, and now they're being melted. I hope this doesn't turn into a familiar scenario.
Well, they have a lot of time to turn it around, and as we saw, Exodus did really good of collecting their composure on their defense. It took them a while, but I mean, this is right around where they found their composure. So yeah, sure enough, they're saying, "Hey, that's our composition. We can play that better," and we're seeing a full double shield across the board. So I would fully expect.
Yeah, but now there's 2 ultimates that bring Exodus in the advantage. They have Shatter and they have Amplification Matrix. And they use it in tandem perfectly. And they shut down me.
Oh, no.
They play comp together. They get the Shatter block, and the wall splits them up, but the payload breaks half of it. Now they're split. Looking to do anything. Nobody contesting. Speed Boost now gone. Shroom is now gone. And they capture with nobody contesting. Exodus are going to your final.
If you told someone from Season 1 that Exodus would be a finalist in Season 2, I don't think anyone would have believed you. But this is a whole different beast. This is just...
I think Quokka Queens are going to have to watch out because they are going up against a team with momentum right now. And it is absolutely insane. It got to the point where I forgot to write down the stats.
Either way, that was just beautiful play. If Exodus can play that confidently in the grand finals, they have a serious chance. Because at this level of play, at like Plat and below, it's really about how fast and how confidently you can play while still playing somewhat good, right? Like the quality of play doesn't matter so much as long as you can play fast. We've seen that before with some of these players in other communities in this same community. So as long as they can play like that, they have a severe chance of becoming champions.
Yeah, and I am pretty sure we're doing an interview. Akram, I'm gonna let you kind of ask them who's gonna be coming in. I'll drag them in. But honestly, let's be real. They're going up against Quokka Queens when it comes to the finals. That team has been dominant the whole season. They fought Exodus some week 3 probably, and they beat Exodus 3-0. When it comes to the finals, it's a best of 6. It's first to 4 wins. What are your petitions on? Because I am shaking in anticipation for this finals game.
That's honestly a tough question because Exodus, we only got to see 3 maps and they kept a really good momentum throughout. They kept their composure, but I don't know how that would translate to a longer series. If this went to like a map 7 or whatever. It looks like
we are going to get Pineapple into this. And welcome, Pineapple, as you are Exodus's main tank champion as you were going into basically the final. Sorry, I'm so excited. How are you doing after that match?
I'm doing good. It's fun match, I'll say. For sure.
So I have to ask, in particular, how much have you practiced the Orisa Reinhardt composition? Because obviously the Orisa changes just came into effect like a few days ago. Have you been preparing for that, or is this kind of like a spur of the moment thing, last second scrim kind of?
Kind of like we had a scrim yesterday where like we didn't start off playing the Orisa comp, and towards the end we started playing it, and we just like realized how strong it was. So I guess it was kind of like it was semi-playing, but it's also pretty new to us as well.
Interesting.
I can 100% see that. My kind of question is, how confident were you guys going up against Soar Academy, like versus how you feel now? Because you guys, I wouldn't say it was dominant, but you guys definitely had the edge in most fights.
We were pretty confident going into it. We knew from when we played them in week 1, that wasn't that long ago. We know their lineup has changed a lot. I'd say more likely to the weaker side than when they were week 1. So we were pretty confident going into it. And yeah.
I would have to say at least one of my final questions is, either Camelot, Quokka Queens, who do you expect to be going up against? And for whatever your team you're expecting to go up against, what is your feeling going up against them?
We've been scrimming against QQ a lot recently, so like, I don't. It's been pretty close in scrim, so I think it's honestly going to be whatever team works harder like this upcoming week, and it's like practices and grinds, and so I think it's winnable for either team really. Just whoever puts in more work will win it.
Definitely understand.
All right. And the last question I got for you is probably going to come back to age you for the grand finals. So on King's Row, on your defense, the Soar Academy was just kind of like rolling through you guys for the first 1.5, right? Or 2.5 points. You were like almost captured onto third point before you started to like turn it around. What was like the big moment where you guys said like, okay, let's stabilize? Like what exactly happened?
I'm gonna be real. After Junkertown, my brain was kind of on monkey, so I just kind of like forgot that I had to like not get wild and just rushed on as Ryan. So I just kind of didn't do that for the first 2 points, and then I'm like, okay, guys, let's just stabilize. We obviously our pull window fire strikes are really big for us. Like we usually consistently got to pick off that. I think that's how we first stabilized. We're just able to start getting our ult economy down. Like we just use like 2 ults this fight, 2 ults next fight. We're always aware of what ults they had and how we're gonna counter it. So just like winning a fight, honestly, and just like readjusting the brawl again, I guess you could say, really helped us, or like stabilize.
Well, it certainly did, because that was probably one of the best defenses I've ever seen. That's all the questions I've got, unless Intel has any more.
No, I'm pretty much done. You're free to go. Enjoy your victory. We'll be seeing you next week against whatever team wins, or Camelot between Quokka.
Yes. Thank you for casting as well.
Oh man, but I agree. That was a very interesting game. I know beforehand we had talked about, and I said, "Oh man, I don't want Exodus I don't want this team to go into like a game 7 or whatever." But honestly, I'm a little disappointed. But I'm still so excited to see that match.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting grand finals. I think, regardless of what the other team is, unless they don't play quite as fast as Exodus, and it could just be another roll and Exodus becomes the champions. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah. So without any further ado, my name is Intel. That's Acri. Make sure to check out Flux Cup and tomorrow's expert games. Otherwise, we thank you so much for watching.